Hi everybody, hi guys and dolls, YouTube land. Alexander Smith coming at you from Bonnie, Scotland. I'm trying to think what to do now. What to do now, because I never got it planned. It's just everything's. I wouldn't say it's that I haven't got anything planned. It's in my head. In my head, everything that's there, what I want to talk about, what I want to say, and it's all gathered in there. But what happened is I never actually got finished. I never actually got finished stuff that I bought from Spraycan, and the reason why I start showing coins is because everybody well knows that Alexander Smith, the channel that everybody checks out, is all about, which started off American coinage. The reason that happened is because, as I said, if you go back, way back to the start of the channel, when I got a 400 subscribers, which I love talking about how the channel started. And what happened is that when I got to 400, I decided what content that, or when I got to 400, I seen the subs fluctuating, which I wasn't about the numbers. I just thought, what content can I use? What content can I do? And the whole idea was going to be about mobile phones. As everybody can see, there is a last video, and I wouldn't say it's drama. It's something that I addressed because I was tagged into that, as in that I went to check comments out, and I noticed that when I seen the comment, I went to comment on it because of who it was and what was concerning, and the person started addressing my channel. So I then had to do a video, and I noticed that the analytics for that video had went to, when I see it today or earlier on before I went live, I see it sitting at 1k. Now, I don't tend to like drama, and if I support somebody, I don't like seeing that channel getting bashed or bullied. And the person was addressing a woman that I don't think that's right in my own eyes. As in, if you've got problems with somebody, take it off here, don't put it on here. But the person was trying to get in contact with her partner, and they were saying certain things, and somebody was saying that that person should come up in this panel. That person was trying to say that he couldn't come up in his panel because of he'd been, according to him, he'd been blocked. I don't want to wish to comment on this. You all seen the title. Yous all know what the title was. This channel's not about bashing and dragging others down. It's not about telling tales in people. But if I support certain channels, I will say things, and I'm allowed to speak my mind, and I will speak it freely and openly, where I'm allowed to or where I'm not. I don't really give two monkeys. But there is another thing I want to address on that video, and what I like to say is that the comments that had been coming from certain parties was reported, because I don't like things being said about somebody if you have no facts and proof of that, and telling me that I have to watch myself, I have to watch myself because that person's supposed to be a so-called nonce. I have a lot of time for the two people, and if you've got a grievance against them, don't bring it onto other people's channel. Don't bring it onto other people's channels. Address it with that person, because I'm not going to say something about that guy because I don't know the guy very, very well, and Scottish do tend to stick together, but we don't. When I meet somebody, I take them for face value. I don't go on hearsay and what other people say about that person. And I think that was wrong in what that person did. As in, I seen the comments, I addressed the comments, but I didn't want to comment back to the comments because I thought it was disgusting. It was disgusting and very low of that person to do what they did. As in with motorsports, saying these things. Maybe there's videos out there that have contradicted certain things has been said, and what happens is when somebody starts speaking about some things that are truth, other people like to fabricate things up and make stories that are not true about that certain person, and I was totally disgusted by it. Luckily, I didn't turn the comments off in that video, but I'd like to address that as well, and that's one thing that I thought I would bring up at the start of the show, because this channel is about coins and it's about phones, it's about good people. I'm trying to build a community that basically fell apart. We've had deaths in that community, good people that are here and been gone, and people that were liked and got on with each other. This channel is about growing other channels, as in doing shout outs, mail calls. I've even had a discussion. I keep in contact with certain people through Messenger, as in that are part of the coin community. And there's something else that I want to say. I just want to let people know that could you please send your condolences to whoever coined and corgis. Johnny Cash, one of our corgis, sadly passed away about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, well, I didn't want to put a video out there. I didn't want to say anything about it because it wasn't my place. It wasn't my place to say anything, and I kept saying to Hoovy, please put a video out, as in, and I'll share it. Hoovy was thinking about, as in, doing cremations, and if you want to, as in, send your condolences to Hoovy, please do so, as in Melissa. She's a very good person, a very good friend, and a part of our coin community. The reason why I mentioned Huvi is because when I was talking to Huvi the other couple in it, I think it was either last night or the night before, and I was saying something about there's a new app that's just started, and it's called What's Not Auctions. And what Whatnot's doing is very much like eBay, but they've actually done live streaming, and basically people can be the host, or if you have a channel, they want people as hosts to do live stream auctions on their platform. And as I was talking to Melissa, which is whoever called Gain Coins, I says to her, I've noticed something about eBay. eBay's never thought about that same platform or the same idea as What's Not. And as I was talking to Melissa, Melissa says, by the way, Alec, she says, I think that's a good idea. And I'm thinking to myself, right, who says it's a good idea? But the thing is, I don't like being a leader. I don't like being a leader of things. I'm rather one of these people that like to follow. And another thing, I'm an ideas man. Always have been. Things will pop into my head just at random. And I'll be thinking about things, and then all of a sudden I'll have this bright idea. And when it hits me, I start thinking about it, the what ifs and the bits and the pieces of it. And I keep thinking and toying about it. And what I was thinking is, everybody in the coin community buys up coins, and they have what they call book fillers, and then they sell the book fillers off, or they trade them out for better ones. And people have a lot of, I would call it, overstock. And what happens with overstock is either you start thinking, what am I going to do with the overstock? So you think, well, either I give it away or I sell it off. But the thing is, what I've noticed on YouTube is there is auctions on it, on channels, but there's no live stream. But there's no as in platform with live stream hosts, as in like I wanted to build. When I said to Melissa about it, I thought to myself, what if we, not a platform, but what if we done a community, like a buy and sell community, but except it's live stream, and whoever wants to be the host, they host it on their own channel, but everybody then joins in that wants to sell coins or whatever, and we take turns about, because there are certain auctions that are out there like spray cans, you've got the Durbins, there's quite a few, as in you've got cheapskate coins. But the thing is, the whole idea is to do like I'd say something like Mama T's idea with the flea market, but do it live stream, as in like live hosting it live, so that others can join in it and either trade or sell stuff on. and I thought it was a good idea, but I need people that are like-minded and say, right, I'd like to be part of that, and I don't want to be sort of the leader of the pack, as in the leader, and me saying, well, this, and then I said to him, but what if, for instance, somebody sells something, doesn't doesn't send it to that person, and it becomes a problem. And I said on Messenger, well, that means then they would have a strike against their name. And it's not that they would get barred out of the community, they would get addressed, or it would get addressed, whoever it was, they would have a strike to their name, but they wouldn't get that strike removed until they fixed it. Until we heard from two sides of that party that that was sorted. Because there's been a lot of times where things have happened in the community, in the coin community, and other people have named names of who it was and what happened and all the rest. And sometimes it rips the community apart and causes nothing but mayhem and disaster. And that's one thing that really upsets me, because if I've done something wrong, I'd rather somebody say, look, Alec, you did wrong here, and I'm not happy with it. I'm going to take them aside and I'm going to fix it as best I can. Because this channel wasn't about us in drama or whatever. Okay, there's nobody here. There's nobody here. I see there's a lurker. Somebody's lurking. There's a couple of things that, and also I would like to say about the shipping pot fund. Yes, I did the shipping pot fund, and no, I haven't sent stuff out. It will get sorted out. Brissy did bring it. Brissy did bring this up to my attention, and said, what's happening about the coins or the bits that we won from last year?" Yes, it hasn't been sent out. And the reason why I didn't ask Brissy for any money or certain people for money is because they, I wouldn't say donated to it, the money that if I sold them stuff or whatever, that money went into the shipping pot fund. And yes, it's in retention, it's in hold. Yes, there's a lot of packages still to go out. Yes, they will be sorted out. But the thing is, I don't have all the money to send packages out, and that is the bottom line. Because the reason why I started going back into the phones is because I need to subsidise it, because I can't buy coins and also do the shipping at the same, do the shipping as well, and I have it on my shoulders. I don't have a lot of money. I only get a certain amount of money that comes in from the government. Yes, I don't work full time. No, it's not my fault that I don't work full time. Yes, I would like a job, as in, or do something constructive. Yes, I don't want people thinking that I'm lazy. I was told that I was better off going on to employment support allowance because I couldn't deal with the pressure that they were putting on my shoulders, because I was forgetting to write things down in paperwork, because they say a certain stipulation on the back of your job sheet, or when you declare for job seekers allowance, and they said to me, "You're not doing enough," and they were going to stop my money. So they said it was better for me to go on ESA, and I've been on ESA for a long time, employment support allowance, which means then that I'm on the sick. and also as in I get a bit of extra money because of the leg, and I'm not ashamed to show that I'm an amputee. But it's not about the money or being. It's not about being famous. It's not about the money. It's about as in being part of the community. I love being part of the community. I love being welcomed into the community. I've never done anything wrong, or I don't think I've done anything wrong to people within the community. I don't harm anybody. I don't cause problems within the community. I pay my dues. When I buy stuff for auction, I pay my dues. It's bought and paid for. I don't get nothing for anything for free. I don't ask for anything for free. If people want to send me stickers, like as in spray can put in there, there's Jack's Coins and Collectibles. If you want to go and check Jack Coins and Collectibles out, you can do. You want to check spray can coins out, you can do. I've also got a couple of mail calls that I would like to do, as in a couple of mail shout outs, and also like to show what's in them as well, because I'm trying to get organised, because I'm only a one-man band show. I've got to do it myself. I don't ask anybody to do it for me. I don't ask for anybody to help me, as in try and get things done. I do it on my own back. And yes, I've been busy. With phones. I am stacked. Full of phones. Stuff that's ready. I've also got stuff as in that need doing, that are in a box. I have 2 boxes. Hi, Irish Collector. No, I was just addressing Irish about the because Brissy brought it up. I was in another channel and Brissy brought it up about the stuff from last year, and I said about it as well. So I've said about it. The reason why, because Brissy's like, well, why didn't you ask for money if you wanted money for shipping? And I was like, the reason why I didn't ask you is because you put the money that I sold him coins. He wanted these dimes, and I says, no, you don't just want one of the dimes. He says, I like on your timeline the blue nose dime, the painted version of it. I says, no, it comes as a 3 coin. It's a special wrap set. It comes, if you buy the blue nose ones, the 2021s, it's a 3 wrap, and there's 3 coins in total. There's 2 that's non-painted and 1 that is. I says, no, you want all 3 of them, because that's what it's called. It's called a special wrap set. Now, I burst them open, and Brissy says, how much will it cost to send them, Alec? I says, well, I don't know. I says, what to do is, don't pay for them until you get them. How much are they, Alec? I says, well, I'm counting them out at £2 a coin or something like that. And he says, I want to be able to put them in my folder, but I want to have them one side, and one's the reverse or the opposite side with the queen on it. I says, so that means you would need 6 of them. I says, 6 of them. And Brissy paid for them. So what I done was, as I'm going through this stuff or whatever, when we started doing the wheel, I thought, well, why don't we put that money, or the money that he's already paid, because it was sitting in PayPal, I hadn't touched it, which I could have lifted it out. And I thought, no, what we'll do is we'll do the shipping pot fund, because I'm thinking, well, I'm buying the coins off of the auctions and whatever else and want to put it in as prizes because at the end of the day, Irish Collector, I didn't want anybody feeling as in left out. And I'm like, well, what if I did? I seen, we were at, when I was down south, me and my partner went somewhere, I think it was Exmouth or something, and there was this game that was set up like Deal or No Deal. And it was one of the show people, one of the show fair family, and she was shouting win a prize every time or whatever it was. Right, but you could exchange your little prize into a bigger prize, but you could only take either the smaller prize or the bigger prize. And I sort of worked it off of that game, and I was like, what if I did that you all get a minimum prize, so you get something as an even though, but then I didn't want to take any money for spots because a lot of people had done spots and they ask you for $5 or $10 or whatever to have a spot. And I thought, well, I don't have the heart to ask for money. I just don't have the heart. And I thought, well, why don't we? And then I thought, well, how am I going to ship this all? And I'm like, I don't have the money to ship all this stuff. And I'm like, what am I going to do? And that's enough. It's like, why don't we do the shipping pot for? But I didn't want to make it compulsory. I just didn't want to make it compulsory. I didn't want to feel that everybody they had to donate to it. So that's how I was like, well, if you want to, and then everybody's like, well, how much is it? How much is it? How much do we need to put in the shipping pot fund? And I was like, well, you can put as little as you like or as much as you like, because I'm thinking, well, it was costing me, I think, for the tracking ones, it was costing me like 25 to America. So I was like working on that, and I'm like, well, if people pay 25, then I'm thinking, well, hold on a minute, you can get quite a lot for tracking if you pay 25. If you pay 25 in the UK, you can send quite a bit. And I was like, And that's how I was like, well, right, guys, you want a wallet or whatever, just hold it back until it's a wallet. Because I wanted everybody to pick what they wanted to do or the way they wanted it. Because I wanted you all to be part of it. Because I was like, well, I'm the host of the show, but I want everybody to have a say in it. I don't want people feeling that it's just one-sided. I didn't want to feel it one-sided. I think overpainted and non-painted dye. You get the toonies and you get the loonies, and then you get the dimes. But the dime also was slightly half painted as well, because what it is they painted. What they did was they painted the sea, so it's not like all painted. But I like the way the Canadians did the toonies and the loonies, because it's not like over painted. I've seen these things that are like, it's like as if they're staring you in the face and it's like too bold and it's like really painted, but it's like overdid or overdone. And I'm like, I don't like that idea. I like it like a minimalist as an amount of paint on it, and it really does look nice. But it was Brissy that saw it in the timeline, and he's like, I saw in your timeline. So I saw in your timeline that dime. I like that dime, that blue nose, that painted. And I was like, what one? He's like, the painted one. And then I'm explaining it to him exactly the way it was. I want to actually show these off because I want to do a mail call. There's a mail call that is backdated, and I didn't forget about it. I put it at the back of my mind, and I kept saying, I need to do this mail call. I need to do it. I need to do this one. I need to do it. And I totally forgot, and I want to show people it, but I want to dedicate it to that person, as in with that mail call, with that mail call. But I want to show some of these, because these were as in the spray cans. It took a while for it to get here, but there's still plenty in the box yet. I've still to do. But I'm trying to get organised. I'm trying to organise everything, because Mum is actually going absolutely, she's just going bananas at me. You got all that stuff, what are you going to do? What the hell are you going to do? What the hell are you going to do with it? It keeps on and on and on about it, and I'm like, I'm taking care of it. She's like, it's coming into my room now. My room's my room. Not you to take over. I might as well just. And she's like, I might as well just leave. I might as well just go and you have this whole house. Your stuff. I'm like, no, you don't want to do that. Because I kept saying to Mum, oh, that monthly money that I get would pay for this place. But then I don't want her feeling that she's got to move out. And I'm pushing her out. I don't want that happening. But then I don't like the arguments between me and her. And it's her tenancy agreement. It's her tenancy agreement. And if they ever decide to do an inspection, I think that's what Mum's worried about, is if they ever did decide to do an inspection, they come in the house and saw the room, or the two rooms. I think that's what's bothering her. And she doesn't like a mess on the floor either. So I try to keep it tidy on the floor, things off the floor. Because I get the hall scattered, and I'm trying to sort of unscatter the hall now, but I'm doing that. So that's how I'm like, you haven't seen me for quite a while. I've sort of done videos and this little shorts and stuff like that, because I'm getting used to the shorts and how to do things, as in without going on. People go, if you're not sure about how to do something, go and look up a video. I have to go and watch a video and have to watch every bit of it. I would rather just learn bit by bit. Just it's like, I felt that when I came into the community, I was like, here. Instead of me taking my time and slowly, steadily doing it, I sort of rushed into it, and I rushed it. And I was like, right, when I go back onto my other project, which is phones, because I'm going to be honest with everybody, I wasn't a coin collector. I was more into phones. But my dad always had a thing about auctions. He loved auctions. He loved going to auctions. He loved going to buy things. And if somebody offered him something and he thought it was a bargain and he could resell it again, he'd buy it. He'd buy it up from that person. And sometimes he wouldn't ask questions of where it came from. And I'm like, that's a bad point in not asking where it came from. What if it came from somewhere and shouldn't have came from somewhere? And I'm like, but that was his thing. He didn't ask questions, but he could feel whether the person was right or wrong, as in he could tell whether it was something was not 100% met, or something was not right. He could tense it. He could feel it. It was like a vibe he got from that person, because he took everybody at face value. But Dad was auctions daft, and he buys stuff, because when he got showed eBay, he started researching a lot of eBay, as in he ended up doing back into Scalextrics, and I'd never seen him do them before. He went into stock cars, the remote controls stuff, and he done that for a while, and then he got fed up with that, and then he was doing research in Scalextric. The market went buoyant for it, and he went back into that, and he was buying them up for eBay as non-working and sort of tatty, and doing them up, and he was doing all right at it. But then he got kicked off of eBay because he went into hospital and he got unwell. But his drinking problem got worse, deadly worse, when I was not here, and it was a shame. And it's sort of a lot of the things that he did, I do now, but I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. Never was into having a drink or whatever. Have a couple, and that's it. But I've got to be in the mood. And I gave up with smoking. And when I gave up with smoking, I was like, well, what is my life all about? I was like, I've not even got an addiction now. I've not even got addiction for anything. But I had a heavy gambling problem before the kids came along. And when the kids came along, I realised that the gambling had become a problem. And I thought, well, I'd rather have money, a bit of money in my pocket in case the kids need fed or whatever else, and my partner runs out of money. But a lot of things has happened since then, since 2015. And when I come back on my own again, what happened was is I isolated myself for a long time, and the depression and the anxiety set in, and the depression steadily got worse, and that's when I found YouTube, and I was in a community where I started watching like the bigger channels like Classic Truck Rescue, stuff that I really enjoy. And one day in particular, I wanted to comment to this bigger channel, and I didn't know how to do it because I didn't know nothing about YouTube or social media. Because I'm not really bothered. I never really bothered with social media. I'm actually, I actually before I came to YouTube was an eBay, doing eBay. So I've done most of eBay, so I know how eBay works. And there's been a lot, but I noticed there's a lot of changes that's happened in eBay. But I don't want to get into a talk about eBay. I'm trying to do the back story of what had happened and how it come about. Which I've told this story many times. People probably got fed up with the same story. So, as I said, I didn't know nothing about social media, not social media platforms, because I never really bothered about them. And one day in particular, and I thought, how do I get my sales up on eBay? And I'm like, I wonder if social media would help sort of promote it and put it out there and do like videos and stuff like that, showing the items and how good a quality the products is and all the rest. Because a lot of the people that do product reviews and all that carry for bigger companies and stuff like that. And they usually get somebody that's sort of a public face or a public figure, and they speak out like George Foreman and how like George Foreman was a boxer, and George Foreman got a deal for doing frying grills or something like that, and he was making a lot of money. He was making a lot of money, George Foreman, but he was originally a boxer because I was watching this thing, and so I knew nothing about social media, so I ended up how to get a YouTube channel or whatever else, and I started doing comments. But then I started watching a lot of Ian Matthews stuff, which I like Ian. I always have done a lot of time for Ian. Hi, Brissy. I was actually talking about you, fun enough, but you need to go back to the video. And nothing bad was said. So I was watching Ian Matthews stuff, and I never showed my face for a long time because I was doing investigation work with something on, so I put another person that's on YouTube, and I don't want to go into that story either. And as you will see, there's a video out there and it's titled "It's Holly Hart," and I don't want to go into that subject, but I wouldn't show my face for a long time, and it was Hazy Days that thought I was for the opposition because he had a thing with Robert Nudden, and they fell out, and Robert Nurdin, whatever else. So I sort of was following them at the time, You Dizzy 1969. And as I progressed on YouTube, the subs started going up and up and up and up and up. And when I got to 400, they just sort of fluctuated. And I thought, well, a lot of people was like, started on about, you need 1,000 views, or need more than 1,000 subs and all the rest to get monetized and all the rest. And I seen other people progressing within the community, and I thought, well, I would like to progress as well. I thought, but I need content. And that's when I started going looking, trying to work out what content did I want to do. And I started looking for content that's somebody had never done. I talked to a lot of people, as in about content that was never done on YouTube, and what did they think that maybe I could do. And it was somebody that says, well, why don't you put something on the table? And I thought, how am I going to do that when I've got nothing to start off with? And I thought, hold on a minute. And it was Cab 7. I was watching Cab 7 one day, and he was shouting out SGS Mixed Adventures. And he kept shouting her out. And I thought, what the hell does she do? And the curiosity get the better of me. Usually, the curiosity always gets the better of me. And I went to go and see what she did. And it was an auction, fun enough, that day. I said to her, do you send to all over the world with the stuff that you do? And she's like, I know. And I was like, well, what do you mean I know? She's like, well, I would do it, but I don't know how much it'll be or whatever. And I says, look, whatever the cost is for the shipping, I'm not really bothered. I says, I'll pay it. And she says, well, what way do you want to do it? I says, well, I would rather do it that if I bid for stuff, I'll pay for it when the auction finishes so that I don't owe for it. I says, but I would rather leave it till it's a full box or whatever, and then ship a box at a time. And she was doing that for a couple of months or whatever, and she got scared, and she says, I need to stop doing it. I says, that's fine. I don't hold anybody with a gun to their head. That's fine. I says, it's cool. She says, but there is a guy called Lemon. Lemon? A guy called Lemon. It's Lemon. Aye. I says, well, what do you mean? Are you talking about lemonade, as in lemonade, or you mean lemon, actual lemon? And she went, he does auctions. I went, all right. And that's how I ended up in a Tuesday auction, going to this person's channel. And I got on with him. I still do. I still think about him. I don't want him, because he said to me, he says, I don't want you to keep bringing up that name as in thing, but I'm just telling you the backstory. I'm just letting people know the backstory, how I came about and what I'm about, because that's the whole thing, is to let people know so that you understand, because sometimes you don't explain things and people just don't get the gist of where you're coming from or what you're trying to achieve. And it's not me wanting to be famous or as in be a millionaire off of YouTube. It's about as in growing as a community, and for us all to grow at the same pace and be as in like people coming into the chat and them having a good time and people talking to each other and getting to know each other and wanting to do the same. And as Mum says, because she kept saying about the other day, and she kept last I think it was last week or something, last week or 2 weeks ago, and she says to me, you'll want to look for people that are like-minded, that do the same thing as yourself. And I think that's where it all comes from, is I wanting to meet people that are like-minded like myself, because Brissy loves coins, so does Irish Collector. you've got a lot of people that come to the channel and they want to see coins. But the thing is, why did I pick USA coins? The reason why I picked USA coins is because I see these UK coins, I've seen them for years, and I didn't really look at them, to be honest. Never thought about errors and varieties and all the rest. But it was when the Americans brought me into the community and I started thinking, hold on a minute, I wonder if our coins have got errors and varieties. Because I used to see these 50 pences and I never used to bother about the designs in the back. And it wasn't until one day I turned it over and I thought, that's got a different design. Reverse designer. Hold on a minute. I've never seen that. I never noticed this. Oh, hold on a minute here. That's when I found out about a lot of the... But then somebody asked us to go over to another channel and they didn't make us feel welcome. They were like, we've got to get to know you. You'll stay. You'll stay. So it felt like as if somebody gone, like, how can I explain it? It's like cornering a fox and cornering that fox and going, and the fox goes, what way will I run? So it's trying to go that way and it's trying to go this way, but it doesn't know whether to go that way or go this way. And that's how I felt, as in the UK done to me. They went, the UK coin community, they went, whoa, as in, whoa, you'll stay there. Back off, you'll stay there. You're not coming any further until we get to know you. You what? You what? I'm one of your lot, and you're going to do that to me? I don't feel welcome here. I don't feel part of your community. I've got USA coins, and somebody was like, he wanted a US jockey and all the rest. I was like, but I've got USA coins. Why not let me speak about them? But we want somebody, as in, so they had, the guy wanted so that he could have the Americans and the British together, so that he could have under his channel, which was the Great British Coin Hunt, have it under his banner and have the Americans showing American coinage for over there and being a jockey, so that he was getting like 2 whips of the cake. So it was like, I want the cake, but I want all the cake, but I want to eat that cake and I want it to be mine's, but I want it under my name, which is going to be Great British Coin Hunt. And I want the Americans on so that I'm streaming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 48 hours. And I was like, hold on a minute, this is not going to... I could see it. I was like, this is not going to work. This is not going to work because you're asking certain things and the Americans are catching on to exactly what you're up to. They don't feel comfortable in what you're doing. When the Americans don't feel comfortable with me or whatever else, I'll go to the Americans and say, look, this is what I'm trying to achieve, or this is the way I'm trying to do it. But I never turned around and said, I've always wanted... This is where it gets emotional for me. I think about this imaginary bridge, right? But it's off... The start of the bridge is here, and the other part of the bridge is over there, right? But I've never told the Americans, I said to the Americans, you can't talk to UK over here. I don't do that. That's not my style. But the thing is, I want to be able to join that bridge together, but I don't want to feel that I'm the leader and I'm telling you what will go. I'd rather everybody have their bit and have their say into it, have their actual say, so that they feel as if they are part of that community. But I'm only the host of this channel, but it doesn't say that I tell you what goes. I'm wanting you coming in and saying, right, I want you to be able to put in comments and say, right, I'd like to see this, I like this, I'd like that, so that and then I can develop it and say, right, okay, I've took your idea on board. I'm going to answer that, or I'm going to have a look into that and see if it's feasible. Because I got asked in that TSB bank and I gave them too much information because I fucking opened my mouth, out my trap, and they're like, "Are you going to sell the coins? Are you going to make profit out of these coins?" And I'm like, "No." I says, "I've got," and I tried to explain to them, and they were like, "You sure it's not a scam?" And I was like, I was like, "No, it's kosher." And they're like, "We're only looking at your best interests, Mr. Smith." When I walked into the bank, and I was like, "I know it's fine and all the rest and blah blah blah." I says, "But I've got this YouTube channel." I says, "I do American coinage." I says, "But I've got American friends or American people that are interested in British coins, and what I want to be able to do is come in this bank and take coins out and take the ones like the different designs and whatever else, maybe 2 or 3 of them or 5 or 6 of them, different designs, and then the stuff, the ones that we don't want, put back into the bank." So that's fine. But he says, "Are you going to profit from these coins?" And I says, "Well, no." They were asking me, so they're saying to me, "Are you going to charge them face value for these coins? But if you're going to profit for these coins, you need a business account if you're going to profit for these coins." And I was like, "No, I don't want to do that." If somebody asks me for a coin and says, "By the way, I'd like a British coin," that was the whole idea of the wheel was to put maybe say a British coin in it and say, right, there's a British coin, but I was only going to give one at a time. I wasn't going to put a full load in at a time because that spoils it. Because you're not going to come. If I put a whole load of coins in a package and send it to you, you're going to have them and go, "I don't really need any more." But if I put a cut one at a time, but I'm mixing the stuff, as in the Canadians and stuff that I don't need, the American stuff that I don't need, back in the packets. That's what I was doing. But then I was like, let's make the wheel have the first or second or third prize. Or maybe they one and then the GW or whatever. So you're winning something like further. Because I want to be able to put maybe other stickers that maybe somebody sent and there's 3 or 4 of them, and say, right, I'm going to throw that in. That's for such and such's channel. Check that channel out. Now you've got a sticker from Mia's Coins. You've got a pin badge for Mia. You get this. Do you know what I mean? Just kept, because I do buy bits and pieces for other. I see things and I go, "That's worth buying." But I want to order 10 of them. I want to order 15 of that. I want to order 50 of them. I want to order 2 rolls of that. I want to order 5 rolls of this. And that's the way I go, because I'm not thinking about, it's never about myself as a person, never myself. When my mother used to come down to our family home, which me and Hazel had, she used to go absolutely daft and say, "It's not I, it's we." So I've never got that all out of my head, that part of we. So I don't think about this channel as I. It's never I. It's we. It's we. But there is no we. There is no we. But there is, because you guys are the supporters of the channel. So there is we. There is we. Because it's I and you lot. We. So you're a part of this channel. So if you get anything that you want to send or whatever else that you want to send on to other people and go, I want you to give that out, but instead of me sending it to them, I'd rather send it to you. I'd rather send it to you, but it's to go to such and such, because it's actually cheaper. It's actually cheaper for me to send it over as in the UK to whoever it is, But I know some of you guys would rather send it direct to that person, but then it costs you a fortune to send it. Because I've had people that turn around and say, I'll do it for you. And I'm like, whoa. I was like, if I'm sending you a package, so you're going to pay it out of your pocket as in for shipping or whatever, I would rather give you 20 or £30 and say, right, send it to one person direct, but it's unnamed. But then I start thinking, I don't want anybody getting the blame for it if anything goes wrong. So I would rather do it myself. And it's no disrespect to anybody. I don't take it. It's just that it's took me a long time to trust people, as in to build up trust again, because that trust had been broken for a long time in things that had happened to me and experiences that I had. And while I'm I do what I call my journey through YouTube, and this is where all the experiences come from. It's never about a channel or somebody that's done wrong to me. It's all about the experience of the journey through of my journey through YouTube. It's for my kids because I've got four daughters that don't live with me, that live elsewhere, and I want my children to see my journey and know that the world isn't as as good as they think it is, and how the world has changed with the generations through the generations. Because I never got to see, because when my granddad was living, there wasn't the internet. There wasn't the internet. It was black and white photographs. And part of I think my auntie, but my grandfather was a videographer. He run a projector, or he had his own projector, and I think that some of the reels were part of his journey that he had between the war and as he was growing up, or after he was growing up, and showing part of the family history. But I feel like part of the history is lost. And I did manage to find the person that he used to work for in the ice cream van, but I decided that I didn't want to publicise it because I hadn't asked her if it was all right to put that photograph up. She gave it to me, the photograph, and said it was all right for me to have the photograph because she'd found it and it was on her Facebook, but I didn't know if it was all right because I hadn't asked permission. So then I thought, hold on a minute here, it's public records because the Tango Cafe existed in Airdrie, and it's part of Airdrie's history, as in that's what people were talking about on Facebook, as in part of Airdrie's history. I suppose I better go on with this, or the mail calls now are showing some of these coins because I'm trying to get it opened, as in some of these, because they're on as in like that, and I just want to show some, but it's sort of getting darker, and I've got the microscope at the moment. When the light's on it, you can see this flickering, and you can see little lines. I can see it on the screen because these are on two levels. Because that's the whole thing. And the reason why you see me sometimes change the settings is because I want to be able to show, because that's what everybody's interested in. Although that I'm the host, I don't sometimes feel that I'm worthy of going in the camera, in front of the camera. I just put that in my timeline the day as in on my Facebook saying about it. So there's 2021 dime. Because when I was picking these up, there was supposed to be errors on them, but I don't know. And I'm not going to say that Spaycam was wrong about them either. I'm not one of the people. I think that most of the people that know the American coinage would know whether there's an error or whatever on a coin and be able to tell me. Because I'm phones daft. I call myself the phone. I'm the phone man. Not the coin man, the phone man. But I got boxes and boxes and boxes of coins that need to come out. And it's not about selling them. Because I could actually put some of the stuff on eBay. But I don't want to do that, as in I'd rather do the phones on eBay, which I know about more than what I do about coins, because I don't want to get it wrong. Because this one says 1975, and somebody's put DD on the back, DD, but it says back, so that means then it's on that side. That needs to be into a different. I don't know what the hell that is. Can we rub it off? Will it come off? It's on top of that. It's on. I don't think it's on the coin. I think it's actually on the flip. Because it's like an old flip. Because somebody's put tape on it. No, because I don't talk bad about people. I'm not here to bash people or say, well, you picked me up about that. Because I was talking about Brissy when you picked us up about the coins for last year that he's won on the wheel. I was explaining that. Why the coins haven't went out and about the shipping itself. Yous are more welcome if one of yous want to. If I see there's two people watching, if yous want to come up in the panel, yous can come up in the panel. It's always an open panel. I've always had it an open panel, but you must show your face so I can see who you are. Because I'm still getting to know people as in off YouTube. There's certain people that I don't know that other people know, and they go, "Well, I can vouch for him. I know him. I know this person. I know that person." Because I stopped going to a lot of panels, but I still watch. I still watch you guys. I'm still lurking. I'm still lurking on YouTube. Sometimes I'm watching stuff. There's Fireman CB says I hate shields. I hate shielders. Well, according to Fireman CV, according to somebody, there's supposed to be errors on these shielders. Too many shielders. Aye, true. See, I usually throw this sort of see like that. I wouldn't I wouldn't give that to somebody because of that bit on it. But then somebody will go, well, I like that defect there, but I don't. This one says it's supposed to be a DD, supposed to be a DDR. Put it this way, fireman, I don't know enough about coins. I'm still learning about coins, but I love auctions. So that's why I started buying coins from auctions. But if I don't know if you were listening, I'm more I'm more phones. Show me a cell phone and you say, do you know about that? Do you know about that fault? Can you tell me what that fault is and why it's doing this? I can do that. It's not a problem. Or I can get to the bottom of it. But coins, I don't know enough about. I don't say I'm a specialist in coins. I like coins and I like being part of. I like being part of the community. I loved the way that I was welcomed into the community with open arms. That's the bit that's overwhelming for me. Being welcomed into the coin community and said, "You, there's a space for you. You belong here." Because they know who. See, this is what amazes me. The Americans can tell who's real and who's not by them just as in a person speaking and letting them speak. But I take everybody at face value and always have done. I don't care whether you're black, white, whatever colour, whatever race. I don't care. Because I've got half Jamaican family. And my dad wasn't a racist either. My dad wasn't a racist either. People have errors and sell them for next to nothing on eBay. Makes them worthless. I love how that when they go and end up being slabbed and then end up they look at the grey sheet and then they're telling you on the grey sheet of what it's come up to in the grade and you're like, wow, is that coin worth that much? Wow. That's what amazes me. It looks like something on that where that cent is, but is it just on the flip? It was on the flip. Bit of fluff for a card, bit of cardboard. I thought it was actually on a coin. No, it's because Spray Can's put 2019, he's put D.D Liberty. So he's saying that there's something down with that as on the Liberty itself. But that's a 2019. He's I've got to put it this way, fam and CV. I've got to make the scope up high. I've not actually went right into the coins, so probably that's why you won't be spotting them. Look for die clashes in the 2030 when he's back of the neck. Yes! Somebody that knows his coins. Nice one. He's like 20 there. It's fine, fireman CV. I knew it was I knew it was a mistake, but I wasn't going to pull it up to 2030, 2023. No, it was Cab 7 that was shouting out SGS Mixed Adventures, and it was that put me into the coin community. And I've been in it since the last, 3-4 years. Not enough coffee. Nah. because it's getting darker. It's actually getting, because it's like three. It's like half three. But I think we've got. I think we've got rain on it. I think we've got rain on the way coming over, and I had lines on the. I know a class. Use the Godfather. A class Cab 7 is another Godfather, and the other one is Green Bay Wacky, because it was used a lot that I used to sit and listen to, and I also used to listen to Grizz, and it was Grizz that said about keeping it real, and I think that's why I don't I don't edit the videos and I don't edit the live streams either. I know, so I just think about, because I asked myself that question, because when the Grizz said about keep it real, I thought, well, how does, I know I do as well. A lot of YouTube's changed so much, it's unreal. And then there's been a lot of deaths in the coin community. There's one that Plumber Stacker was dedicating to, was Texas Joe, but we've also had the Youper Girl, which was Amy. She's gone. And also you've got Stern, who was young, who was only a young guy. He's gone. And then you've got Lincoln Coin Central, was another mod. He's gone. So the community sort of drifted apart. I know that some of you have went to D Live because it's a better platform. I just stayed on YouTube until it gets Fireman CV, until it gets worse on YouTube, then I'll leave. When I don't see a lot of faces on YouTube, I'll be going as well. I'll be changing, but I'll wait until that happens, because I get used to a platform and I know how to use it. Because it's like StreamYards. I know how to use StreamYards now. I know how to go live and turn it on. I know how to turn it on. I know how to turn it off. And as I said, I don't edit the mistakes. I leave the mistakes in. Because I've noticed that I done a short which was on a phone. It basically, Fireman CV, if nobody's doing coins, sing me, and if you think it's worth doing, do it. Try it and see how it goes. You might find that it takes off. Because it's like that What's Not, there's a platform called What's Not Auction, and they're doing a host that live streams that does the auction, and they're looking for people to know What's Not Auction. It's just a new platform that's come out. I don't know enough about it. I've heard people talking about it, and as I was talking about to Melissa, I was saying to Melissa about, as in, why didn't eBay never think about that same platform? It depends, Pharmacy B, if people that have come over for the coin community into D Live, because it'll start to catch on. It's like a niche, as in putting a niche out there that's different for everybody else. No, I think about it's the live streaming part of it I was thinking about, as in the actual live auctions, live hosting. And I thought, well, what if we did it? Because there's a lot of people in the coin community that don't do auctions on their own channel, and everybody's like, some people are like, I've got so many coins and I've got this and I've got that, and I want to be able to try and get rid of it, and I don't know where to put, and I don't know where to sell it. I don't know where the best place is for it to get rid of these coins. And I was like, I wonder if we do like a community that's sort of like-minded people that want to do live stream auctions and sort of club together, and then just like, either somebody does it in one channel, under one channel, and there's different hosts, different days, or maybe say once a week. But then I'm thinking, I don't want it feeling like I'm actually leading it, because I would rather be, I'm one of these, I'm rather a follower than a leader. I don't like taking charge of things. I've never been a boss or have to be a boss. I like being part of the team. Well, this is what they're doing and what's not, and I heard about it, and I was like, that's quite interesting. I'm thinking, well, you mean that you can actually live stream a live stream auction, but it's under their platform, and that's what's not, and they're asking for hosts actually to host as in actual YouTube channels, and I'm like, this is actually going to start, and I'm like, this is interesting. I'm like, this sounds actually quite a good thing. Because when you go to these auction houses, that's what you're standing there. You're standing in the day. There's like a viewing day. So you've got, like, say for instance, the Thursday, which would be a viewing day, and you go into a real live auction house, and you get in to see what's there, and you go, right, I'm going to go on that day, and it's on the Thursday, and then you've got somebody as in shouting out, $1 room, $1, $1, $1, now $2. Do we have two? Do we have $2? $2, $2. I like that part of it. I get the buzz of that. That's the part that I get the adrenaline rush, where you're going to own that coin or own that item. Enough people problem with DLive is they delete a why are they deleting videos after 3 days? Explain that, Fireman CV, please. Why would you be deleting videos for? So, what you've just said on a live stream, you're going to delete it. I've never been on DLive, so I don't know what it's like on DLive. I've heard people talking about it, because I remember the day that Cab7 said, I'm not leaving YouTube, but I won't be here as much. I'm going over. If anybody wants to come over, please do so. Come over to DLive. I remember him saying about it. I'm going over DLive. Oh, so they delete the videos, right? Right, now I get you. If you've under 1,000 followers, they delete the videos after 3 days. TikTok's a bit like that at the moment. I can only do short, little like short videos. I can't do long videos, and that's because I don't have over 1,000 followers on TikTok. But I just done TikTok because somebody says, I'll do shorts on TikTok. You get more views. You get more views over there, as in what, rather than what you'll get on YouTube. Try it and see how you get on. And the person that told me about it was right. He was bang on. I'd like two shorts on TikTok, and there were like 333 views within about less than 2 days or something like that. I just like showing coins of what I've got or what ones that I've bought at auction. Because some of them I don't need. I must have overstock and whatever else. I've got like 8 boxes that I've not even opened yet. And you see on one of the videos it says, "Who plays Jenga? I play them with real boxes." That's a D. I reckon that's a D. That's not a P. That's more like a D. It says DDR on it. Once you pass 1,000 followers, that's all right then. You just got to keep going at it. It's like me not being monetized, and they demonetize. They didn't demonetize me. They deleted my AdSense account, or they deactivated my AdSense account. So I don't think I'll ever actually get monetized. But then I spent like 2 years as in doing my boxing or doing my head in, where I had to get this part to get to monetization and put in the hours. And I got to a state I was like, why bother about this? Why let it stress me out? It's stressing me out. Why let it bother me? And people are like, well, if you don't enjoy it, I'll just come off of YouTube. And I was like, I don't say that I'm not enjoying it. But then I was like, well, why stress about it? And then like that video, like the short, it's got like on a phone. It's on. It says, "Did you think I forgot the follow up?" That video on its own, or that short, has got 1.2k of views on it, and all it is showing a phone, as in the software for a phone, as in saying this is the follow up video of the second part of it. And I've started putting videos on my reels on my Facebook. I get like 500-600 view. I get 500-600 views, and then I've got like 1k on reels. And I'm like, well, what's the point of doing YouTube? I was like, I might as well just do Facebook, because you can go live on Facebook and they actually pay you. I've seen like you've got like D Maxwell, she's a comedian, and you've got a guy that's he did have a YouTube channel. I can't mind what he's called again. He's a young boy, and he plays the piano, Phyllis or something music. And there was one that he was caught, and he motorised this piano, and the only reason he motorised it was so that he could go up the hills and whatever else and not have to pull it. And as he's going along the road, he's at the side of the road and he's pulling it, or he's in front of it and he's guiding it, and you hear the motor behind it, and all you see is the police pull up behind him, and they pull him over, and they start getting it. This is a motorised vehicle, blah blah blah, and he's away telling it all the rest. This is not a motorised vehicle, blah blah blah. I've looked into the law, blah blah blah, and you hear him Tafali or something. He's called Tafali, a charity, some charity or something like that. But it was originally on YouTube, and I seen his videos on Facebook, and he was getting like stars on this car on Family CV, and I'm like, you actually get money for stars for that car on? And I was like, oh, this is interesting. This, I was like, I don't know you get paid for actually ring me doing videos on Facebook, and I'm like, this. But it wasn't the money side of it. I was like, well, if I can get the views as in like that, then maybe my YouTube, then I'll tag my Facebook onto, as in from my Facebook onto my YouTube, and then put my YouTube videos from my YouTube onto my timeline. That'll help me as in get the views up. because I don't get the views like I don't get views like the bigger channels. Because I used to like when Cab 7 would start a live, and then all of a sudden you sort of see it 20, 20 in the chat, and then it would end up being over 100 and odd. But the thing is, he's been on it he's been on it a long time, and he's built up his following, and that's what inspires you when you see somebody that you've watched as in grown from a little acorn to a big oak tree, and you're like, wow, and you're like, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. That's what inspires me. Well, if they can do it, I can do it. That's possible. It's possible. Because my dad used to say, I used to get me into trouble for always saying, it's impossible. No, it's not, it's not. He never swore. Stop saying that. It's not, it's because you don't want to do it. It's not you can't do it. It's not you just won't want to do it because you're too lazy. I've been watching Cab 7 a few times and then I sort of dart in and dart back out again. And it's not that I don't still support them, it's just that I just don't have time because I'm busy with phones. I'm stowed. I need to get stuff on eBay. I need to get really organised because the part that I don't like is the listing them. It's paperwork and doing computer work. I'd rather I'm hands on. I'm one of these guys that I'd rather be hands on. It's like you when you were a fireman, as in be putting out fires. You were hands on. I'm one of these people I like being hands on with things. I just love showing. This is a skull crack. It says on it. No reason, no way to show that skull crack would be to actually go down onto that. Well, you can put it in the chat. Put Cab 7 as in his YouTube or his D Live in it and tag it. Because that's what this channel is about, is to help us and others as in grow within our community, as in the YouTube family. It's not just about me and that. Exactly. Everyone has their own style. I don't turn around and say you can't self promote. Some people are like, don't tell me who's on. Don't come in here and say, as in go and see such and such. That's self promoting. Why are you taking other people from my life to theirs? No, I'm telling you who's on. I'm telling you who's on. Such and such is on. You want to go over, go and see them. Because that's what it's all about. It's not about just one person. Because to me, that's being selfish. Keeping people to yourself. Not telling them who you support. It's about growing. It's a YouTube family. It's a community. We're all entitled to as in for people to go and watch other people that stuff that maybe they're interested in. Because we've got a lot of people that are in the coin community that are in other communities. As in you get like metal, people that are into metal detecting. You get people that as in at 16:40, it's 16:18 over here, so that's 4:18 p.m. I don't know what time it is over there. Because I usually do that go as in because I know that you start to get up and during about the afternoon, as in UK time, because it's coming on tea time over here. I just thought that I would clear things up, as in because I haven't done a live stream for ages and ages and ages. And the whole idea was to still early yet then, Fireman CV, as in if it's only 11:18. Sunday, probably at church or something like that. Because it's like, it's not over here. They don't come out till like, I think it's like 12 or something like that. They go in at 9 or I think it's 10 in the church. They don't come out to, I think it's about, I think church doesn't come out till like 1 in the afternoon. I think the last service is like 1 in the afternoon. I haven't been to church for a long, long, long time. I do believe there's a God. I do believe. I am a believer. 1976. This is a DDR, wasn't it? And it's getting darker in here, man. It's because of that light. I need to get another. I might end up need to get another microscope because I keep forgetting. I end up leave this on. See, if I turn it up too much, it ends up. It makes it. It makes it go look white. And then that's the shine of the glare off the film. Because it's getting darker over here. Because I've got the wee light over there, and then I've got I'm by the window. The window's actually shining. And then if I take it down to there, it's because that's darker. Because spray cans marked them when I bought them as what they're supposed to be, or what he thought they were, or what somebody actually sent them into him and thought they were. This one says it's got a die break on the reverse there. It says on it 2016. That's a dime. Because like people will turn around and say, "What is it you need that?" Aye, but the microscope that I've got, Fireman CV, it's a £30 or something. It's a cheap one, but it's got lights on it. So it's got like LEDs underneath the magnification. And I just do it to show coins. I'm not into other eras and varieties, but this actually says somebody's put marked on it. Die break. There's a die break. That should have been break. A die break. And it's telling you reverse. It's a USB, but it's not a dear one. But it's starting to, because I've been leaving it on so long, as in keep forgetting to turn it off, it's starting to create lines. I can actually see the lines, but I don't know if it's because this is my old Chromebook and it's the automatic update expiries went in it. So I don't know if it's something to do with the automatic updates, whether it's something to do with that or whether it's the microscope itself. But it's creating lines. You can actually see it in the screen. I can see the lines on the lines. It's actually lines. You can actually see it. It's like a TV that's breaking down, and you see the lines as in the actual coloured lines, and that's what it looks like on the screen. And I saw it, and I'm like, because you burn them out. Because the last one I done the same, burnt it out, burnt the lights out in it, the LEDs in it. And then I had to end up buying the stand because the stand in the other stand for the old one didn't fit it. So I ended up buying a stand, which meant then it cost me more money because the microscope itself was, I think, 22 or something like that, 18, something, I think it was £18 or something like that. Then the stand was another £20 odd or something like that for the aluminium stand. because I just like showing coins. As in, if the channel is about coins, I didn't want to change the content for coins over to phones, because that was what the whole channel was supposed to be about, was doing cell phones, but it didn't end up being cell phones. It ended up become coins. So everybody knows the channel is coins. But then I decided, instead of changing the content, why not put the coins and the phones together and do cell phones plus coins? And then people sort of went away for the channel because I stopped doing the coins, or they thought I stopped doing the coins. I try to explain to them, no, I do the phones as well. That's another project. But that is my main passion, is doing the phones, is fixing them. I'll buy a phone for eBay, or I'll buy a boatload for eBay, untested, and then I start going through them and doing, because I've got a friend who I met on eBay, and I didn't know he had a YouTube channel, and his user ID on eBay is Blackberry Rim. And I found out that he had a channel because he'd linked it in his YouTube eBay descriptions, and I seen it, vintage mobile archives. The guy's name is George. Now George has got a massive following for phones. And I was talking to Melissa on Messenger, and she said, I actually seen that, Alex. She says, I noticed that how there's a big following, or something that's happened within the phone industry and become a big thing lately on YouTube. I says, well, I've been into it since 98, because I had a guy who I used to take stuff to get fixed. And he says to me one day, why not fix them yourself? Now I didn't. I was like scared about fixing things. And he says, try it. She says, you're alright. She says, it's not that difficult. Because I was asking him a question about an unlocking box and whether he had it, and it was called, back then it was called the Nokia, they called it Nokia Black Magic Box, they called it, for unlocking. And I says, can I? And he wouldn't show me what was underneath the table, as in underneath the counter. He says, I can't divulge that. He says, but big. And he went, big round ball. Big round ball. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, this guy's mad. Big round blue ball. That's all he said. Go on to big round blue ball, Paul. And he was like, I've got Fire and CV, I've got all the equipment now. I've got all the equipment for doing it all. But as I'm saying, back in 98, this is back in 90, it was back in 98 when I first started. Because I started getting interested in phones and whatever else, because Dad he was a spray painter and panel beater, so my dad was a jack of all trades, a master at none, but his main trade was spray painting and panel beating, and he was blooming good at that. And I thought, if I can get his talent and be an artist, because when I used to watch him in the garage, as when I used to give him a hand, I thought, Dad's an artist, he is an artist. I wished I could do what he did and be an artist the exact same as him. I thought, because painting is like an art skill, and I was like, if he can use that gun and the way he flicks that gun, I was like, this is something else. I was always hacking cable modems and got out of it. Oh, a lot of the technology's not changed since then. It's like you've got RX and you get like RX and TX, But my dad, before he passed away, he was delving into radios, and I was doing a lot of research for months because I'd been looking at unlocking boxes and all the rest, and I'd been looking at them and trying to work them out and trying to understand what one was different to this, why is that different to that. And I was looking at this box and I sees RX and TX, and I was like, started divulging into what is RX and TX, and I found out that basically it's exactly the same as a radio. It's a receiver and a transmitter, but a lot of them's confused the industry over the years with the different. You've got EMMC and then you've got the now we're into what they call it UFS, which is universal flash storage, but they've changed the market so much that people have got sort of bamboozled. And I says to somebody, we're actually going back in time. We're actually going back. Because when I seen RX and TX, I was like, that's radio transmitter. I was like, that's exact same as a remote control car. You got a receiver and transmitter. And then when I found George and I speak over Messenger. There's times where sometimes I don't like to use George all the time or take up his time. And sometimes I'll drop him a message and say, I'm stuck at this or I'm stuck at that. And George will never take a penny off me. George is, that's fine. I'll wait until you come back. I'm just trying to do this because I need to do that. I need to do another mail call. I've got a mail call there as well for Uncle Ian. I need to do that as well. They kept saying I'll do that one as soon as it comes in. Never get done. It left on the table. I opened it up, seen what it was, left it on the table, and then went, I need to do that one for weeks. I damn. I dime. There a dime there. 2016p. And somebody's put on it die break, but I'm too far. I'm too far away. I'm too far up. It would need to be further down to see that die break or wherever it is. Because it just says on the front of it die break reverse. So you need to look for where it is. And I'm just sort of, I'm trying to get, put it this way, Dan, I'm trying to get through, I'm trying to get through these coins because I keep forgetting that I've still got stuff to get through with, as in the spray can scent, what I bought out of the auction. But lately I've been doing phones, and then I had to get to, sometimes what'll happen is, instead of me doing all these videos on the phones or whatever as I'm doing the job, sometimes I'll either feel that the video will take too long and I get bored, and then sometimes I'll think about the content. I'm thinking, is the content worthy enough to put out there? Would somebody watch it? Would they not watch it? And then I'm like, I get to the point, I'm like, I've finished the job anyway. It's too late now. The job's done. But that's the whole thing about the unlocking and all the rest, is to actually show and prove. There's a lot of ones out there and they'll go, that don't work, this one doesn't work, that doesn't work. We've tried this one and it doesn't work that way. It goes this way. So I was like, that's why I was like, well, I don't want to put it out there, because I was like, I don't want no this negative comments. I don't want the channel to be negative. I don't want it to get to an extreme where nobody wants to comment because there's comments or arguing who's right and who's wrong. I don't see it as that I'm always right or that person's wrong and this person's right. I'm one of these people, I look at two people and I'm like, well, who do I think that's telling the truth? But then I've been told there's three sides to a story. No two, there's three sides. Don't ask me why somebody said there's three sides. I can't remember. They explained it. But then two people arguing and you like the both of them. And sometimes I'm like, I want to bash the two of your heads together. Because you are as bad as each other. One's saying this, the other one's saying that. But you're telling me your side of the story. He's telling me a different side of the story. And what story do I actually believe? And I'll end up looking at the two of them and I'm thinking, I might smash two of your heads together because you're as bad as each other, instead of saying, right, you disagree to him and leaving it at that. Because I actually want to do, I don't know where it went. I haven't a clue where it went. I'm sure that on the kitchen table was one of Ian's stickers, and I can't find it now. It said, if in doubt, give it a clout. Because Ian Matthews sent that, and I want to show what was sent. So he sent, because I seen that in a box, and I was like, I know what that is. And I was like, that's to hold. And then I thought, when I seen it, I was like, is it what I thought it was? I'm like, is it a PCB? Is it for holding PCBs, or is it for cutting tile? But then I'm thinking it's too small for cutting tile, because it's got two holes there. And then I started thinking, well, I wonder if you could change the them so it's the opposite way round. But I reckon what happens is you can take that off of there and put it in on there. But then I thought, well, why do I want to put it on there? Because the whole idea is for to hold the PCB boards. Because that's what that's for. That's the spring action. And then what you can do is you can actually tighten the wheel up, because that wheel moves. Because when I seen it, I was like, that's a PCB hold. That's a PCB holder. I said, I need one. I need one of them. I said, or I could do with it. I was like, I could do with that. I says, Tina, I know what that is. On his video, he's like, well, if you want it, he says, you can have it. And I says to him, I need, a friend of mine says, what you want? He says, you want an RJ45. He says, you want an RJ45. He says, but you want a standard RJ45 cable. He says, what you want to do is, he says, you want the 8 lines. He says, you want the 8 lines there. You want the 8 lines. He says, just cut the end. He says, cut the end off. He says, as long as there's 8 wires in it. He says, because you've got he says, you need number, I think it was number 1, I think it was number 1, I think it was number 3, number 2, and number 8, I think he says you need. So I says to Ian, I says, have you got any of the cables? And he's like, well, how many do you need? He's like, I'll send you two over. So I wanted to do the shout out to Ian to Uncle Ian, to Ian Matthews. And he also sent, because he goes, I don't need it. He goes, I don't need it. He says, but do me a favour. So he wrote me a love letter for it. So he says, let's get a crack. As you can see, there's a crack. The crack's there. Crack there. But the guy, his friend gave him that phone for to use as a camera, because he says, I need something to use as a camera to do the video for his videos. And then he says, it was no good for what I needed it for. He says, but if you want it, he says, you can have it. I says, well, I do phones. I says, I'll buy it off you. So, no, he says, I'll send you it. He says, but I need you to do me a favour. So he wrote me a letter, and he says to me, he says in the letter, Alec, my friend, sorry for the delay. Hope you can make use of these, Ian, which he's talking about the RJ45s. And then it says PS, delete everything off this phone, please. PS, phone glass is already cracked. So he's telling me the glass was already cracked, but the phone still works. But people actually buy, as long as it powers up, they'll buy them off of eBay. And sometimes I've seen phones that's locked that are actually iCloud locked, and they actually buy them. But what they do is they take them apart, take the EMC out, and there's an actual it's called an AND adapter. And basically what you do is you take the other chip out. Usually they take a chip out another phone, they clean that one, they clear it, and then they take the EMC out of the one that's got the iCloud locked, and they change over the chip that's already been done. And it's called an AND adapter. But it was actually developed by I don't know if it was developed by them, or it was developed first by iPhone, and then obviously iPhone then let the technology out, or let it slip, and somebody else seen that, and EasyJTag must have saw it, which is Z3X team, and they've developed it into their box as in the universal box, but they call it EasyJTag. But they had an EasyJTag, they had Z3X was part of Samsung. Z3X was built for Samsung stuff. Then as they developed it over the years, they made a universal box, and they brought a universal box out. They called that EasyJTag. But over the years, they developed it further into the market, and they changed over the box. So there's like a box, version 1 and version 2, and then they're talking about it just recently. They're talking about a version 3 box, a version 3. They're talking about, I've actually got version 2. Try to find that elastic band now. I don't know where that elastic band went. There it's there, elastic band. Oh, because that's why I was wanting to do the video for Ian as well. I was like, well, let's address everything and sort of catch up, as in catch up, try and catch up as much as possible. But there's nobody watching now. Nobody's watching, nobody's watching. Probably put, I probably put people off because the first part of the video was about talking about somebody that other people were commenting, saying about, oh, he's an on, he's an ons. And I'm like, well, how you tell me he's an ons? And they're saying he was convicted of a 13-year-old. And I was like, what do you mean you're telling me that he was convicted? How do you know this? How do you know this? Because that was about the last video that I put up. Because what happened is I seen it on a different channel, which was Bluebells, and I don't like drama. I've never liked drama. If I see drama and I support that person or whatever, I'm on it. And I was commenting to that person, which is Paul, the guy was talking about Paul Ellis and Tony Burkett, and Tony Burkett Paul Ellis was supposed to be using Tony Burkett's account, and he commented on this person's channel, which is the person's other half. And last week I was getting messages or comments to that video, and I had to actually report them. And I was like, I don't want to get into this because I'm like, I don't know the person that well. And I'm like, you're telling me this, and you're saying, watch your back and watch what you're doing and don't be on this person's channel. And I'm like, what? I'm like, you're telling me stuff that I don't even know about. I can't even get that verified or backed up. And I was like, have you got proof and evidence you can actually show me? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm just reporting these comments to YouTube. I was like, because this is defamation of character. You're assassinating somebody's character that I don't even know, that I've only just met through YouTube, but I'm listening to the guy, and he says about why no Tony Burkett or Paul Ellis come up in his panel. And it's me watching that video and him saying that, and then the guy says, oh, but I'm blocked. So this is why. Leave me. If motorsports leaves me alone, I'll leave him alone. But it's on Bluebell's channel. Exactly, Fireman. And I was like, that's. And you're talking about this guy's is in the UK. We don't have that defamation of character. We don't have that. There's not a law of that. I don't know if there is or not, because I've never had that experience. But when I saw that, I don't know what made me do the video. Maybe because I felt like they were trying to assassinate the woman's business, and I'm like, you're sabotaging her business. You're trying to destroy something that she's built up, and you'd rather talk to her than talk to the guy because he's blocked you, or you say he's blocked you. You say he's blocked you. So why not put that on his channel? Why not as in put it in his comment, not in her comment? You're putting it on her channel, so you're asking her to speak to her partner. And that's when it gets quite, as in the, like, it's like a wife and wife, or a husband and wife, and the wife talks to the husband, but the husband's pal is speaking to her, and he's getting at her in the neck because as in, he doesn't get on with the pal. And I'm like, this is going on. It's like drama all the time on YouTube. And I was like, well, why am I getting myself even involved in this? But then I was like, well, I've done the video now. I'm not going to delete the video, but I'm going to address what was said so that people know. Because I was like, I can't have this. I can't have this. So it's like somebody stabbing somebody in the back. Somebody stabbing somebody in the back. And I was like, I would rather, if you've got a grievance against me or somebody, I would rather it face to face and you say, I don't like you. And actually, I know, fam and CV, a lot of people avoid drama, but when your name is on it, this is my argument. My name was said in it, in that comment, and it was addressed to me. So I was like, well, you're putting my name on it and saying Alexander Smith, 20C21. I was like, so it's directed to me. It's directed to me because you're talking back to me in the comment because I've commented to that. Of course there is. Of course you're right. There is too many keyboard warriors. They hide behind it. YouTube. I know they don't. How many creators have you saw that have either been bullied or harassed? That's supposed to be YouTube's job. They're supposed to be investigating all this stuff. If you put something to them, and you report it, they should be investigating it. Why should it be other creators have to jump in? As it's like a sinking. It's like seeing a boat in the sea and the boat's sinking and you see the boat sinking, so you go out and decide to save it, but it's not your job to go out and save it. But because of the person you are, you go out and save it to save people in that boat for sinking. But YouTube don't. Oh, of course it does. Of course it does. Drama sells, especially on YouTube. Because you see two sides fighting. It's like Coronation Street, and they leave it on a cliffhanger. It's like two people you see fighting or arguing amongst themselves. But I don't consider it an argument. I consider it as a debate because I've seen heated conversations on panels, and people think that they're shouting at each other, but they're not. They're debating. One says something, another says something else, but they leave it at that. As in, I love the conversations where it's a debate, and it's not about who's right and who's wrong. It's about how they see it to somebody else. That's the part I love, and that's what I love when the community's like that. As in, they're not arguing and fighting amongst each other, because you see, when an argument starts and there's two people that are arguing between each other, it's like some people's like, you got to pick sides. Who's in the right and who's in the wrong? I don't pick sides. I don't do that because I hate being the piggy in the middle, and I'm looking at the two of them and I'm thinking, which one's right? Who's right and who's wrong? And I'm like, as I said, I just want to go up and grab the two of them by the neck and twist them by the neck and go, bang. There, you've sorted it out now. You've got a sore head. It's their head. Aye, but he deserved it because the two years is the thing, mate. The two years are in the ring because you can't see eye to eye with each other. Instead of, if you've got a difference, leaving it aside or saying, right, okay, you see it differently, what I see it, and leaving it at that. It's like, as they say, agree to disagree. I took a lot of what Cab 7 said off a lot of his live streams and listened to what he was saying in it and read between the lines and went, he's right what he's saying. Aye, I see that point of that. Aye, I understand that part. But there were certain parts that I didn't understand and I was like, I didn't want to go and ask him. And I'm like, I'll understand that eventually because I knew nothing about YouTube and I was like, I want to find out what the do's and the don'ts is in YouTube. What do you do right? What do you do wrong? What do you not do? What do you not say? All the bits. And I was like, and Peter's like, you'll never get your head round it. You'll never ever get your head round YouTube and how YouTube actually works properly. Just go with it. Go with the flow. Go with the flow. That was in Spray Can. Spray Can left that and Jack's Coins and Collectibles. If anybody wants to go over and check that out, I actually like that. The feather in the cap. I think Jack was doing this like pill bag or something. Pill bag. I'm sure that's what it was. Because that's my two. That is my two. That was S-Mac that done them, but then Hi Ho Silver done a different design. And then when I used to put the packets out, I don't know what it is. When I used to put the packets out, I used to put that on it. As in the back of on one of the back of them. Hi Ho Silvers. Because that was about, I think about 20 odd pound or something like that. Because it says on it, Hi Ho Silver, YouTube, Hi Ho Creations, Shop, Redbubble. Because he done me a favour by doing one of my other stickers. So I've got one over on Redbubble. So I've got one over on Redbubble. But Redbubble's nothing like that. Because he goes, we can't copy that creation. I goes, well, can you do something near it? Can you do something near that, near them? Because I'm wanting that, because that's the Phoenix when it rose for the ashes. Because everybody used to tell me about the fishing vessel, about the fishing vessel on the rocks and where it was filmed and all the bits and pieces, and everybody's like, where did you get that originally from, like that banner? I was like, what banner? And they're like, the one with the boat on it and the crash into the sea. I went, I got it off of YouTube. I just got it off of YouTube. And somebody developed it because I was like, well, Dad's not here anymore. But then I found out over years, Mum was like, the reason why Dad likes coming down to you as an endorser, and Mum's told me that Dad was into fishing vessels. I knew nothing that he was in. I didn't even know Dad had a thing about fishing vessels. And I was like, so he's into fishing vessels, and I was like, right, I'm not going to take that boat away. I was like, but then I was like, you always used to say about the Phoenix, how it rose for the ashes. And I thought, I wonder if I can incorporate the Phoenix, going as if it's flying like that, and going into the water, but it doesn't actually go right into the water and sink. It goes like that and comes up. And I was like, that would be then the Phoenix rising for the ashes and the fishing vessel going doing its thing. I was like, why did I incorporate that on so it feels as if Dad is still here, but part of the channel? But I never ever got off him. I never once got off him. He was proud of what I ever done in life. never ever got a pat on the back from him. Never. He was always hard with me. And I think it wasn't intentionally him being hard with me. I think it was a case of wanting me to be able to be strong enough when he passed on. But then I realised before he passed on, it was a day where Mum was out. I don't know what made me. I went into the bedroom to see if he was alright. And I was like that, and I'm watching him, and I was talking about him, and he was listening to what I was saying. But it was sort of like that, and the old eyes was dropping off. And I went like that, and I was holding his hand, and I says to him, I know what my life is and mission, as in life. I went to mend and fix things, and then I started crying, sort of being emotional. But the old man was dying. The old man was dying, but slowly he was dying. And when he passed on, he gave me his gift of what he had, because I think that's what it did. It passed the spirit, or the spirit passed into my body, as in so that he rose again. Because some of the stuff I'm like, where did all this come from? It's like one night I was sitting and I was like, I know this, and I know this, and I know this, and I know that. And I was like, why do I know that? And then I realised, I was like, he was messing about with radios. I was like, do you never think about it? I was like, a radio, right? You've got you've got the army, who's got phones or these handheld devices with no wires on them, but a big stick hero out in the field, and they can phone home. Right? But it looks more like a walkie-talkie than what it does a radio, right? So I'm like, think about that back then, right? And then that's when it all came to me. I was like, he was messing about with radios. I was like, he gave you his gift of understanding how this works. A phone is half of got data from a satellite up there, can throw a signal, and it works off of that's how I found worked out RX and TX. I was like, that's receiver and transmitter. Because George is like, he says, I'm going to tell you one thing. Don't get them mixed up. And he's like, I'll explain it to you in layman's terms. He's like, if you've got RX and TX in the box, he goes, you can't solder it over to RX in the phone. He goes, you need to put RX to TX. He goes, and your TX goes to RX. He goes, one's this, and I was like, he didn't tell me. I was like, and I said to George, one's a receiver, one's a transmitter. And he went, He goes, you got it in one. Got it in one, bro. He goes, you got it in one. He goes, a receiver and a transmitter. He goes, but you can't put them as in snap them together. He goes, and that's what a lot of the technicians, the younger generation and the new technicians coming in to the game, they tend to forget that. As in then they're like, data era, it's gone data era or CMD. But then I was like that to Mum. I was like, it's CMD's command. It's a command prompt. And when you get a timeout error, it's because too many are on the server at the same time, and it's trying to transmit signals at the same time. But what it is when we have these programmer boxes, I'll show you what one looks like. Not all of them has got TX and RX on them, because that's the Cyclone, which is as in does DCT4 with Nokia. Because the other week the thing I had to read down my computer and all the rest of the fucking nightmare. Because it says powered by GPG. GPG's changed over. Their company or something's changed over or something. It skins or something. went into something else just lately. I stopped buying from them, but I tend to buy for GSM server. And a book fell, one of the bits and pieces, then the back of the chair. Again, Highfield guy. Some of the boxes have not got RX and TX on them. That's when I found out. I was like, interesting that. Because the other one, I know nobody's watching, but somebody will watch the repeat and I put it on. See, that one's got JPEG, it's the JTAG. So that one's got an adapter and then you solder the wires onto it. So you take the PCB. There's two ways of doing them. You take eMMC Alpha. That's one of the adapters there. That was done by, that's more C. And then there's an adapter. There's an adapter that goes on top of that. And it's like, it just looks like a case, and then it snaps open. I've never even used them. There's two boxes that I've never even used yet, because I do more unlocking than what I do anything else. It tends to be a lot more unlocking than anything else, because that one's got to be done. Because that one's originally thing. That one's on orange. That one's got to be done. This is G600. This is G600. Please ignore this email. The code is valid for the next 15 minutes. If you did not request, please ignore this email. Alright, it's the code, because you use the code to get into the code to get into the. No, because I've put the thing on top of the panel link was on the top of when I first come into the chat, or when I started the live stream. But that's them ones finished, and then what I've got to do now is I've got to take the dimes, as in they've got to be, that's the pennies, or the 1 cents. Take the 1 cents. How is everybody's day? How's everybody doing? See, I don't know if everybody's in holiday, because I know there's a coin show coming up this month, or I think it's this month. So a lot of people's away because they've got the coin in the coin show. See, now that I've opened them up, so I know there's 3 packets that's opened up and I've still got more to go. That's still to... That's fine. It's good to see you as well, Farming CV. Drop them in there. I'm just tidying up now. I'm just tidying up. And it means then that I know that I've got to... Because sometimes I'm like, do I actually... Sometimes I'm like, is it worth me doing? Is it worth me keep doing a live stream, or is it worth me doing like as in just doing a short? Sometimes I'll do like a short, and sometimes I'm like, well, will I do a... I got more of these. I got more of these down there. I got about 100 and odd or something like 100 and odd. But then I was like, well, they'll come in handy for putting the phones together, as in like the charger on the phones. I'm just putting these because it's now that I've got them, because I totally forgot that when Spray Can sent them over, there was different ones in the different packets, and there was like dimes and all sorts. Because I'd won them or something like that. So I'm just... Because that's a box, it's... Because I like that. I don't know. I'll probably end up keeping that. Because I've not had one that's Britannia. That's a 1 ouncer. But then I was in somewhere during the week, and I think it was either $5 or a 10. It was either $5 or a $10 one. And the money that they were asking for them, it felt as if the prices had dropped on them slightly. Because I was like, as in asking something like, I think it was like, one was 45, one was 35 or something. I think one was 35 and another one was $45. And I'm like, sometimes I see me paying 42 for the 42, around about 42 for them, $42. And I was like, and I'm thinking, do I go for it or not? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know. But then I was like, the price seems as if it's dropped slightly on the silver or whatever. No, because I want to try and get... I had so much on... You know how when you get something on your mind, you get something on your mind, and it's as if you bottle it up, but as you bottle it up, instead of it exploding, you need to release it. Well, that's what I feel the day that I actually released a lot of the pressure, as in it was in my head. It was actually in my head that I needed to get out there, as in to explain to other people, as in what way the channel was going to go and stuff like that, as in because there was a lot of talks. Because there's certain ones that I will talk to or I feel comfortable in talking to, as in maybe through Messenger, but instead of me as in saying because I tend to keep a lot of things in confidence, but then I want to just talk about just things in general, what's been spoken about. and then they maybe tell me something that I didn't know. But then I'm thinking, is it my place to hear that? It was like Melissa and me saying about Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash passed away, and I was like, well, it's not really my place to say in about Johnny Cash, but she told me that Johnny Cash was not well and his breathing got slightly harder, and she'd been watching over him, and she'd a funny feeling that he was going to pass on because the breathing was like panting to get breath. And she told me on the, I think it was like on the Thursday or something like that. It was either the Friday or the Saturday that he passed over. And Melissa says, I really would like to get him cremated, and then I'm going to have the vet bills to, obviously the vet bills to bury him or whatever. But then she says, I would really like to cremate cremate him. She says, but it's going to be quite a lot of money. I says, well, and she goes, I don't really want to ask for help or donations. She says, but I don't know what to do. And I says to, when I was reassuring her, and I says to people won't feel like that, Melissa. I says, just put it out there. I says, and just say, look, Johnny Cash has passed away, as in the corgi, one of your corgis. I says, and if anybody would like to donate, then it's up to them. I says, because you're not really asking, you're saying, well, yeah, it's up to them. I says, and if they feel that they want to donate to that, then that's totally up to them. But don't feel as in that that you're you're as in that you're like asking sort of thing. I says, but it'll be alright. I says, because I says at the end of the day they'll understand. People will understand. I says, but you'll need to explain it properly. I says, but what it is, I says, is you put out a video. I says, then what I'll do is I'll go and see that video and then I'll share it on mine. I says, because it's not really my place to say, although that you've told me. So I says to her Daz a couple of weeks ago, but I was more worried about how she would react and where she would sort of feel sort of lost or whatever and not want to come on YouTube. And I didn't want her sort of feeling as in that sort of, I didn't want her making her feel as in isolated as in Melissa, because I do like Melissa a lot. I don't love her as a boyfriend, not that way. I like her, or I got on with her as a friend, and I would no want to, because as I said, I see you as an attractive woman. I says, but I don't want to overstep the mark. And it was like the other night, and I was saying to her on Messenger about, I don't want you feeling as if I'm stalking you. And she went, I don't think that at all. She says, I know how you like my company and whatever else, and do you like being about as in the company of the coin community, and I know that I haven't been around lately because there is times where I like, as in when we were on a panel, like with Monkey M and all that car on, and you end up, you sort of feel as in you really enjoy that company and you get an enjoyment of being around them. And I think that's more that what I actually miss is that being around company that you get on with and you sort of seem to be in the same sort of doing the same thing as them. But when Melissa said that, I was like, I didn't know what to say, and I'm trying to sort of reassure her as in, without sort of because I didn't want to sort of end up upsetting her over Messenger. But then I was like, it's not really my place to tell everybody. I says it's needing to come from the horse's mouth, because it was the same like when um, I found out about, because it was Melissa that taught me about um, Kathy, who was Craig Durbin's wife. And I says to Melissa, I don't want to put it out there. I says, I would rather Craig put it out there. I says, as in that Kathy's passed away. I says, because I don't want to overstep the mark. I says, and it ends up that you find out it's no gospel. I says, I would rather come out of Craig's mouth first. I says, and then us sort of to put the word round about sort of thing. Because I'm not that type of person, because I just take it as gospel, because you don't sometimes know if it's real or whether it's not sort of thing, because there's been a lot of times where the coin community has put things out there and they find out that it wasn't 100% accurate, as in, and people go around and say, oh, did you hear about such and whatever else, and it ends up like Chinese whispers. And that's what I didn't want to end up. I didn't want it being like Chinese whispers, and then me. I'd rather have the facts, or the facts of the evidence in front of me, that it's come from the horse's mouth, so that you know that it's proper, it's genuine, it's genuine, that it is true. Because there's a lot of times where people run me half a story, and then tell everybody else half the story, and then it ends up with backfires on them. And I sort of don't like when the backfire happens, as in, because it was like the time where, I don't know, not everybody got their packages, and it felt as if that certain others were getting the blame, or people were thinking that the packages were going to certain people and no others. And I was like, no, I says that's not the case. And you're trying to sort of let them know that you were not involved, in it, that you were sort of there as a spectator as well. So you sort of get duped as well at the same time, sort of thing. But I don't hold grievances against people. I tend to I'm one of these people that if something happens to me and it's done by a certain person, I'll forgive, but I'll not forget. I'll be like, you've stung me. I'll forgive you because I don't want the drama, or I don't want, as in the coin community, split apart. But I'll not forget what you did. I'll not forget what you did to me, as in, but it means then that I won't be trusting you like I did do. But as in the difference with um, Travis, which is Travis Martin, which is Lemonhead Penny, um, I understand the predicament that happened to him at the end. So I understand. I've been in that predicament 4 or 5 times myself, and I know how it feels, as in being at the bottom. It's like being at the bottom of the ladder. You feel as if you've been at the bottom of the ladder, and what happened is you hit rock bottom, and you feel like there's no way up. But it takes time for you to climb back up to climb up that ladder. And people tend to, oh, but you owe me this and you owe me that and blah blah blah. Instead of leaving the person alone until they get on their feet, because we all hit hard times, and it's a struggle trying to get back up there, and you know in your own mind that you owe people whatever, and you're like, you don't know how to tell them, look, I don't have it to give you back. And then it depends on the person themselves, as in how they react to when you turn around and tell them that. But they didn't know the predicament that he was in at the time. and it was him to come out with it, as in because that is one of these ones where it's personal. It's not something that you would air out in public unless you wanted to, and it's actually better coming for the horse's mouth than for somebody else to say it because it's not their place. But sometimes a lot of people forget that you also have a personal life away from YouTube, even although that you're on YouTube a lot, and people forget that you have your own personal space where you don't have to explain and tell everybody everything. And some creators will show you parts of their life because they want other people to see parts of the world. Because people sometimes ask you, "What is it you see in your own?" It's like it's like another pair of eyes, and they want to see what you can see because they've never experienced it before. But when you start delving into your personal space, you feel as if you've aired it out to the world, and you end up people sometimes that they'll take it the wrong way, and sometimes you don't want to go into sort of details, as in because you don't want people thinking any less of you because of going through hard times or what's went on in your life and all that carry on, and you sort of don't want people to judge you, as in that you, because people change in their life, as in they make mistakes, and that's what life is about, is learning by the mistakes. But there's times where you can make these mistakes a few times over and not realise that you're actually doing it until you realise, well, I need to change my life. But it's only for that person to change their life. Nobody else can do it for you. Nobody else can do it for you. Only you can change. But it doesn't mean to say that you've to judge that person and punish them for the mistakes they've made in the past, and to hold it again, and to hold it against them. I don't think that that's right for other people to judge others, because there's times where I've had people that turn around and tell me, "Oh, don't do this and don't do that," and I ask them, "Well, why you tell me not to do that?" Well, if you give me an explanation of why I've not to do that, then I won't do it. But then you get people that'll tell you not to do something and then they go away and do it. And I'm like, but you've just done me, you just told me not to do. So why did you do it in the first place then? If you're telling me not to do something and you go and do it, that makes it right for me to then go and do it because you've done it, but you've also told me not to do it. So you've been judge and jury at telling me what's right and what's wrong, or what you feel is wrong in your eyes, but then you've away and done it yourself. I don't think that's right. It's like the government turning in and saying, "Well, you've not to do this," but they go away and do it. So there's a law for one and a law for another. I thought that there's supposed to be only one law for everybody and it goes for everybody, not for different people. Right, I'm going to actually end this, guys, and I'll see you later. Thanks for having me and thanks for the time for taking and listening to me. Thanks, everybody. Bye.